Web3 isn't dying, but your community might be. Let's fix that. Most Web3 founders think that if they just launch a Discord, open a Twitter, post some memes, that the community will just magically show up. Spoiler alert, it won't. In fact, 99% of Web3 communities die in silence. So what separates the 1% that end up thriving? Today, I'll show you exactly what they do separately. So a bit of context, yesterday I made this tweet that seemed to spark a lot of interest from people around community building. Now, we've worked with hundreds of the top community builders in the space, and after getting to know what their systems look like behind the scenes, here are the 3 things that you need to be paying attention to. Now, we're going to be doing a lot of this video a la Leon, meaning sharing my iPad screen, because a lot of these concepts that I'm going to be giving you today are very visual. So let's start this out. Community is essentially nothing but a giant funnel with 3 main pillars. The first one, of course, being acquisition. Acquisition is nothing more than how do you attract these eyeballs? How do you make someone interested in joining your community? And for that, before you even get started with content creation, you need a clear purpose and you need a clear story that communicates that purpose efficiently to the extent of making someone want to join you and bringing that story to life. Now, how do you communicate that story? Well, of course, through content. This is where something like the founder funnel comes in, putting yourself out there as a founder. But also, this is where you would want to post a lot of written, video, content, and spaces. With acquisition, really, the bigger you can make that top of funnel, the more and more members and community members you're likely to have. The way I can think about it, the better I can become as a founder, a better content creator, the more people I can get to go through my community acquisition funnel. And I think a great example of this is Good Vibes Club, who had an absolutely stunning acquisition strategy. When we asked them what was the most impactful, the one thing that was the most impactful to their acquisition strategy, they told us, guys, it's literally just this one thing, which is connecting on a one-to-one basis with our top holders, with our top fans, with our top supporters. What they would literally do, what Tyler and Chris would literally do, would get on a call with all of these top people and form a one-to-one connection basis, get to tell them their personal story, the reason why Good Vibes Club is even starting. And that, I can guarantee you, is a much better sales pitch than anything you will ever do. Forming an actual connection with someone is better than anything else that you can do. And by the way, the last thing you want to do on that call is actually pitch them or hard sell them. The number one thing that you can walk away with is having shared your story. That's it. And having connected with that person on a one-to-one basis. This is as strong of an acquisition strategy as you can get. And this is where we get to step 2, which is retention. Now, retention is nothing more than how can I get these people whom I've got already their attention to stay, to stick around longer. The way Web3 operates is an attention economy. You're very likely to lose your audience's attention at any second. This is exactly why you want to optimize for your retention strategies. And this is where I want to take some real life examples, especially from a brand you may have heard of in Web3, Azuki. Azuki, if anything, have done an amazing job at community building. And this is what it looks like. We're lucky because Zagabond actually leaked his actual process of community retention. And this is what it looks like in short. You put the date on one side, you put the X handle or name, whatever it is that you want. You can put what they've purchased with you. And this is where you put the customer success manager that is taking care of that specific individual. And from there, anything that you add are identifiers of which steps of our retention system have we applied. right? You want to create a conveyor belt of retention. This is where you can add an onboarding call to onboard them and welcome them into the community. This is where you can add in check-in calls to see how they're going, how they're feeling. And obviously, as you scale this community, this is where you can include things like town halls, group activities, where you can do one-to-many instead of one-to-one. And you can denote, have they attended? Are they checking in? Are they posting about us? When's the last time they posted about us? And obviously, you can get very sophisticated with this. Now, what I call this is a community retention system. I know I spelled retention wrong. A community retention system. But a CRS is exactly what I call this. And I think every single successful community should, and probably already does, have something that looks similar to this. Now, lastly, on to number 3. The last step of the funnel is ascension. Now, this is one that is very often neglected by everyone. We often think about a successful NFT as this one single point of success or failure, which is their mint. How much did they make in their mint? How fast did they mint out? Oh my God, these guys have made $1 million from their mint. This was extremely successful. But what then? What happens after that mint? And this is typically what literally 99% of all projects have in common. There is nothing that comes after mint. It is a single point of success or failure that leads into the inevitable end and death of every single NFT project, which is why you need to have an ascension strategy in place. And here's the best way to think about this. If acquisition is acquiring the customer, retention is maintaining that customer, keeping their attention, keeping them active with us, then ascension is upselling that customer. How do we get that fan to become a true fan? And here's a thought experiment. Say you've had a successful NFT mint nowadays. You've maybe made $1 million on that one NFT mint. What if you could create $1,000 worth of value throughout an entire year? $1,000 worth of value for an entire year for every single member of your community. Say you have 1,000 strong fans. You have 1,000 community members. You've created $1,000 worth of value for them throughout the entire year. That's $1 million a year. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is ascension. How do we give enough value to our loyal customers so that we're happy, they're happy, everyone's happy? I mean, think about it. The most successful communities we speak about today, take Pudgy Penguins, for example. Their biggest successes, people don't refer to their mint anymore. People don't look back to their mint as like, oh, it was a successful mint. People don't even remember the mint. Instead, what we remember them by, their toy deal at Walmart. That's pretty recent. We remember them launching Pengu, their success with Pengu. We remember their current success with Abstract. These are the things that we remember a community by. If all they had, if all Pudgy Penguins had was a successful NFT mint 3, 4, 5 years ago, I bet you that they would be long dead and gone by today. And this is why you need to pay attention to the last bit of the funnel, ascension. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop me a follow on Twitter, or if you're watching this, a subscribe on YouTube. Building a community doesn't have to be a guessing game for you. So feel free to drop a comment if you have any questions or are feeling stuck with your current community building journey.